Hello, I am now doing circumference and area of a circle, and then I will kind of go off on the side and talk about finding perimeter and area of a semicircle. So I'm going to cover both of those in this one video. To start with, you see here that we have a circle, and when we are finding the radius, the diameter, the circumference, or the area of a circle, we are going to use Ridka to find that every time. So here we go. So I know that I need to find the circumference and the area. This here, my diameter will stretch from side to side of my circle going directly through the center. My radius would only be from the side to the center and stop. So your radius is half of your diameter. Right now, this example that we're working on is the diameter. So my radius, which would be just from the center out, would be half of that, which would only be 3.5 feet. So when we're looking at circumference, my formula for circumference is 2 pi r. I know my radius is 3.5, so I'm going to fill in what I know. I know that my 2 and my pi will always be the same, and I know my radius is 3.5. So when I calculate that, I have 2 times 3.14 times 3.5. So my circumference for this circle with a radius of 7 will be 21.98 feet. Circumference is the outside of the circle, so that's just like we're talking about in my previous video. We were talking about fencing a horse pasture. This would be like fencing a circular park or a circular pasture. So we're looking at just the outside circle. If we're now finding area, my formula for area of a circle is pi r squared. You should have these memorized. I'm going to fill in what I know. I know that pi is 3.14, and I know my radius is 3.5, and it must be squared. The exponent 2, or squaring something, means that I'm going to do 3.5 times 3.5. So 3.5 times 3.5 times pi, or 3.14, would mean that I have an area of 38.465 feet squared. Area is always squared. So, as you see, I just found my radius, my diameter, my circumference, and my area of this entire circle. I'm going to change that up just a bit and go with the scenario of if we had if I had a semicircle that had a diameter of 7 feet. If I'm finding the area and the circumference, or I'm sorry, the area and the perimeter of my semicircle, I'm going to start by finding area. So if I'm looking for area of a semicircle, I'm going to start by solving for the entire area of a circle, of an entire circle with a diameter of 7. So again, I have area equals pi r squared, filling in what I know, 3.14 times 3.5 squared. So that's going to give me 3.5 times 3.5 times 3.14 to give me an area of 38.465 feet squared. Now that's the area of an entire circle with a radius of 7 like we just had before I turned off the screen. I want to know what just a half of a circle is. So if I divide it by 2, which would be essentially erasing like I just did, if I divide this number by 2, it would end up with a perimeter, an area of 19.23 feet squared. I would just be counting the inside of my semicircle. I don't need to add anything else to it. I know we talk about finding the perimeter. and we have to add that edge length back. But when we're talking about area, if I'm painting this circle here, I'm not worried about the distance around my circle at this point. I'm only worried about the inside. So once I've divided it in half, I'm good to go. I leave it just like that. Now if I want to find the perimeter or the circumference of my semicircle, again, my diameter is 7 feet. And I'm going to start by finding the circumference of an entire circle with a diameter of 7. So C equals 2 pi r, filling in what I know. So 3.5 times 3.14 times 2. So circumference is 21.98 feet. That's the circumference of an entire circle. I don't want an entire circle. I want half of a circle or a semicircle. So I will divide by 2 to get 10.99. This is where we have to add back in our diameter. If you notice, I'm only counting right now my dashed red line. I want to make sure that I'm including my entire perimeter or circumference of my semicircle. So I must add this 7 feet to what I already have for the arched part of my circle. So I need to add my 7 to this to get a total of 17.99 feet. And it's not going to be squared because we're just talking about perimeter or circumference, so it is not squared. Hopefully this makes sense. So again, if it doesn't make sense, you need to send me an email or see me before you take the test. Or also go back to your notes because we've done this a lot over the last 3 weeks. So hopefully this helps.